Upon a time, in a vibrant city lived a young woman named Ngozi. At 25, she was known for her striking beauty, radiant smile, and infectious laughter. Her life seemed perfect from the outside. She had a good job, supportive friends, and a loving family. However, Ngozi was deeply affected by the allure of social media. Every day, she scrolled through her feeds, entranced by the glamorous lives of influencers and celebrities. Their perfectly curated photos and exotic vacations sparked a desire in her to project a similar image. She began to modify her own life to fit this ideal, spending hours perfecting her posts and creating a persona that was far from her true self. Despite the facade, Ngozi felt an emptiness inside. The pressure to maintain this glamorous lifestyle weighed heavily on her. She felt compelled to chase after likes, comments, and followers, believing they would bring her happiness and validation. Yet, the more she sought approval online, the more isolated she became. Ngozi's closest friend, Ikechukwu, was a wise and grounded man. He had always been a source of comfort and insight, reminding her of the value of authenticity and true connections. Ikechukwu often saw the toll social media took on Ngozi, and one day he decided to confront her. "Ngozi," he said gently, during a walk in the park, "I have noticed you've changed. You are not the same joyful person you used to be. This constant need for validation online isn't the way to find happiness." Ngozi sighed, brushing off his concern. "But Ikechukwu, look at the world around us. Everyone is doing it. I want to be a part of that. I want to be admired." Ikechukwu paused, looking deep into her eyes. "But at what cost? The admiration you seek is fleeting, like a shadow. True happiness comes from being yourself, not a version that you think others will love." Despite his words resonating with her, Ngozi felt defensive. She didn't want to believe that her pursuit of a perfect life was misguided. Days turned into weeks, and her online persona continued to thrive, while her real self began to wither. One day, while scrolling through her feed, Ngozi stumbled upon a post that struck her deeply. It featured a beautiful woman who had just returned from a luxurious vacation, complete with a caption about how she was living her dream life. Underneath the post, comments poured in, everyone expressing envy and admiration. Ngozi felt a pang of jealousy mixed with admiration. That evening, she stayed up late, curating her own post about a recent trip she had taken. She enhanced the images with filters and wrote a captivating caption, even though the trip had been less glamorous than depicted. The likes began to roll in almost immediately, and Ngozi felt a rush of joy. But as quickly as it came, the joy faded, replaced by an unsettling feeling. Was this really her life, or merely a facade? The next day, while walking through the market, Ngozi bumped into an elderly woman selling colorful fabrics. The woman looked up and smiled, her eyes sparkling with wisdom. "Young lady," she said, "why do you wear the mask of someone else when your true self is beautiful?" Ngozi, taken aback, tried to defend herself. "I'm just trying to fit in. Everyone else is doing it." The woman shook her head. "The world has many mirrors, my dear, but none can reflect your true essence. You are enough as you are, without the layers of perfection." This encounter lingered in Ngozi's mind, igniting a flicker of doubt about her current path. She decided to visit Ikechukwu that evening, seeking his counsel once more. "I met an old woman today. she confessed. She told me I wear a mask. I can't help but wonder if I have lost myself in this pursuit of perfection. Ikechukwu smiled softly, pleased to hear her acknowledgement. Let's take a journey together. I want to show you the beauty of authenticity. The following weekend, Ikechukwu took Amara to a nearby village known for its rich culture and genuine people. As they walked through the vibrant streets, filled with laughter and music, Amara began to feel the weight of her worries lift. The villagers embraced their true selves, celebrating their lives without the influence of social media. They joined a gathering where villagers shared stories, dances, and songs. Ngozi was captivated by the joy and connection that flourished in the absence of filters and facades. For the first time in months, she felt free. See, Ngozi, Ikechukwu said, this is the life you deserve. It's not about the likes or the followers. It's about real connections and genuine happiness. Despite the elderly woman's words resonating with her, Amara brushed off the advice, believing she could manage her dual lives, the vibrant, authentic woman she was in person and the glamorous, curated persona she projected online. The allure of likes and comments was so intoxicating to resist, and the validation became a driving force. Days turned into weeks, and Amara doubled down on her social media presence. She invested more time in producing visually stunning content, meticulously planning photo shoots, and crafting captions that told a story of a life most could only dream of. The facade grew, and so did her follower count, but inside she felt an emptiness that gnawed at her. One day, as Ngozi was scrolling through her feed, she stumbled upon an influencer who had just launched a brand, claiming to sell the secret to a perfect life. Intrigued and envious, Ngozi reached out to this influencer, hoping to align herself with someone who embodied everything she aspired to be. They struck up a friendship online, and the influencer invited Ngozi to an exclusive event meant to showcase their brand. Excited, Ngozi spent days preparing, ensuring every detail of her appearance was flawless. When the day arrived, she felt a surge of excitement mixed with anxiety. At the event, surrounded by the elite of the social media world, Ngozi was mesmerized by the glitz and glamour. She watched as influencers flaunted their lives, sipping champagne and posing for pictures. She quickly joined in, feeling validated by the attention. For a moment, she felt like she belonged. However, as the night wore on, Ngozi began to notice the darker side of this world. Behind the smiles and laughter, whispers filled the air. Gossip and rivalry lay just beneath the surface. As she interacted with others, she felt increasingly out of place. The conversation revolved around superficial topics, and the kindness she cherished in her true friendships was replaced by a fierce competition for attention. Feeling overwhelmed, Ngozi stepped outside for fresh air. The night sky was beautiful, but instead of comfort, she felt a deep loneliness wash over her. In that moment, she recalled the elderly woman's words. Her mask felt heavier than ever, but instead of heeding this call, she brushed it aside, determined to prove her worth in this world. In the following weeks, Ngozi became consumed by her new friendship and the influencer's brand. She took on various projects, promoting products that promised to elevate one's lifestyle. Yet, as she immersed herself deeper, the joy she once felt in her life began to dwindle. The pressure to maintain this perfect image was relentless, and her mental health suffered. Late nights, constant comparing, comparison and anxiety took a toll on her well-being. One evening, while preparing for a major launch event for the influencer's brand, Ngozi collapsed from exhaustion. It was a wake-up call she could no longer ignore. As she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, she felt a deep sense of loss. The dreams she once cherished, the laughter she shared with Ikechukwu, all seemed distant. The next day, Ngozi received a message from the influencer demanding perfection for the upcoming event. Stricken with anxiety, Ngozi realized she had become a puppet in someone else's game. It was in this moment of clarity that she decided to take a break. She cancelled her participation in the event, something that felt monumental but necessary. Needing support, Ngozi finally reached out to Ikechukwu. When he arrived, he found her in a fragile state. "I feel trapped, Ikechukwu," she confessed, tears streaming down her face. "I thought I could live this dream, but it's suffocating me." Ikechukwu listened patiently, then spoke. "It's never too late to find your way back, Ngozi. The path to authenticity is always open, waiting for you to return. You don't have to play a role, you just need to be yourself." With Ikechukwu's encouragement, Ngozi began the journey of self-reflection. She spent time in nature, meditated, and wrote down her feelings. Slowly, she peeled away the layers of her online persona, confronting the fears and insecurities that had driven her to seek validation through a false life. One day, while at the market, Ngozi unexpectedly encountered the elderly woman again. This time, she approached her with sincerity. "I didn't listen before, but I want to understand. How do I find my true self again?" The woman smiled knowingly. "It takes courage to strip away the layers, embrace who you are, even the parts you think are unworthy. Remember, true beauty shines from within." Ngozi nodded. Feeling a warmth in her heart, she decided to document her journey authentically, sharing not only her struggles but also her growth. She posted about a decision to step back from the pressures of social media, focusing instead on real experiences and genuine connections. As she shared her story, her followers began to resonate with her authenticity. They expressed gratitude for her openness, and a community formed around the shared struggles. This newfound support lifted her spirit and reminded her of the beauty in vulnerability. Months later, Ngozi found herself in a different place. She had stepped away from the influencer's world, choosing instead to embrace her passions: art, community service, and genuine friendships. Ikechukwu remained by her side, always ready with wisdom and encouragement. Through her journey, Ngozi learned that life is not about the mask we wear, but the connections we forge. The glamorous facade she once chased had been replaced by a deeper understanding of herself. She no longer sought validation through superficial means, but found joy in the simple moments of life. And so, Ngozi transformed her narrative, choosing to be a beacon of authenticity in a world often filled with illusion. She embraced her true self and inspired others to do the same, reminding everyone that the most beautiful life is the one lived in truth, not in a carefully crafted display. And soon, she naturally became an influencer. A group of widows who had benefited from her constant show of love, support, and cash gifts decided to make her known on the social media. They created an online group and made Ngozi the admin. She was surprised, but they explained to her that they wanted her influence to cut across borders. They publicized the group so much it grew into hundreds of thousands. Many joined of their own volition because her teachings were too irresistible. Finally, she became the influencer she had always dreamt of. without forcing it.